The Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior Football Championship opening round continues on day 2 with St Eunan's up against Kilcar. This could turn out to be one of the games of the weekend as the Letterkenny side start the defence of their Dr Maguire Cup. However, they are missing one or two of their star men for this game, while Kilcar are set to welcome back a couple of their big guns. Throw-in time is 4 o'clock.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.
Well, it's a very good afternoon from the O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny as the Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior Football Championship continues on day 2 of the opening weekend. So far, Glenswally, Killybegs, Four Masters and St Michael's have all won their respective ties. And our feature game here this afternoon from the O'Donnell Park sees the defending champion St Eunan start the defence of their title against Kilcar, a side of course that has tasted victory at this level by lifting the Dr Maguire Cup back in 2017. And as we come into this game, we certainly have, it's going to be teed up as an interesting tie because St Eunan's are down several key bodies for this game. There's no sign of their county men. Obviously they're on a break at the moment after a taxing season. They're not lining out for St Eunan's today. However, the flip side of that for Kilcar, the likes of Patrick McBurty is starting, and we expect him to take his place up top as the number 14 for Kilcar. We'll go through the starting lineups in just a few moments, but Brendan Devaney, a man of course who coached St Eunan's to that Dr Maguire success last year, he's parked his coaching for the year and he's back doing his media duties, and he's along with us here this afternoon. Listen, Brendan, this game has been teed up here now. very much as a 50-50 tie because St Eunan's are down so many people, and the likes of Kilcar are able to bring back McBurty and a few others.
Yeah, definitely, Oisín, and I've taken the comfy seat beside you again now, which, it's a different world up here. I'll tell you what, you can see the game a lot better. It was funny being down pitch side last year because it's got so used to being up doing commentaries and having that view of it, to be been down there. And of course Kilcar coming up in the first game last year, but it was probably one of the best performances Eunan's put in, particularly those opening 2 games. And Kilcar were right on it as well. Obviously they've had a really tough league, just surviving late on in terms of their league play. And I think Kilcar working off a smaller squad, if they've got a few players away, and of course you mentioned Paddy, Owen McHugh's in here today, you've got those 3 lads at the county squad, you pick up a few injuries and a couple of people away due to work, and all of a sudden you're under pressure to get a strong team out, and I think that's what's happening in the league. But as you said, Oisín, the fact that the Donegal County boys are all away, there's a couple of injuries there, notably to like Aaron Deeney as well, which has been slow to heal in that. So Eunan's to me look like they're at their kind of bare bones, if you like. So the fact that those couple of county lads are back in, Matthew McLean has come in the last few weeks for Kilcar as well, really strong footballer. They are going to ask a lot of questions of this Eunan side today, and just looking at it now, there's a couple of players there, kind of Eunan's last year played through county players in many ways, and now there's lads who are going to have to stand up and be integral players in the centre here today. But I, as you said, Oisín, I couldn't call this match now looking at the 2 15s that we have starting. Okay
then, well, let's take a look at the team sheets and who will be lining out for who. We'll start with the hosts and the holders of the Dr. Maguire Cup. And goals, taking the place of Sean Patton, will be young Fintan Doherty. The full back line is going to be made up of Dara Mulgrew, Eamon Doherty and Noah Barrett. 2 of those players very experienced at senior club championship level. Peter Devine, Kieran Tobin and Anthony Gallagher make up the half-back line at 5, 6 and 7, and then it's Keeley and Kelly in the middle of the park. Kevin Keeley and James Kelly for St Eunan's at 8 and 9. The half-forward line is made up of Oran Winston, Conor O'Donnell Sr. and Philip Doherty, while the front 3 is Conor O'Donnell Jr., Owen McGeehan and Porrick Boyle. We don't expect any changes to that lineup for St Eunan's. However, there may be a change or two to the lineup for Kilcar. We'll give you the listed 15. Kevin Campbell is back in goals for Kilcar. Porrick Carr, Owen McCormick and Barry McGinley are at 2, 3 and 4. The half-back line's made up of Gary Malloy, Ryan McShane and Brian O'Donnell. Then we see Kieran McGinley starting at number 8 in what is his 20th season for Kilcar. Porrick McShane is at number 9. Owen McHugh, Conor Doherty and Matthew McLean are at 10, 11 and 12, with Kieran O'Donnell, Patrick McBurty and Conor O'Donnell wearing number 13, 14 and 15. So certainly a strong looking Kilcar side, but if we look at their sub bench, Mark McHugh and Stephen McBurty are both named amongst the subs. They could line out from the whistle as well, and there is no Ryan McHugh for Kilcar today. All these sides of course looking to start their campaigns with wins in the opening weekend. I'll make a correction, I did say St Michael's in my introduction, but it was actually McCool's who won that game down at St Michael's. Glenswilly, Killybegs and Four Masters of course have already won their respective games from last night, but St Eunan's will be looking to get up and running today with a victory to start the defence of this title. And Kilcar, you never know, they come here now to the O'Donnell Park, a place actually that they were last year, Brendan, and suffered a heavy enough defeat, but they have won here previously in the championship before.
And funny you mentioned that, Oisín. That was that's actually in my time that was the only home championship game we'd ever lost, was that game actually. And I remember it was a standout one because it was 2012. I was involved in the team, coaching the team, and we had been flying in the league, and it was a 9-week break, and we were top of the league, going great guns. Next thing, Kilcar come up and beat us in the opening game. We managed to beat them down in Towney and won the third match over in Convoy there. So yeah, they have come here and won before, Oisín, and I think in many ways, after what's happened in the league, this is championship now, and again, because of the way the championship's set up, Oisín, it's not all going to be about today, so the 2 teams can go at it.
Okay then, we are here at the O'Donnell Park. The championship starts for St Eunan's and Kilcar. Full live match coverage here on Highland Radio, and indeed on streamsport.ie as well. We are now going to take the national anthem.
Here today, we have Katrina McIntyre from the local from St. Eunan's Club. She's got several county medals from people players out in the LGFA and in the sport. She's here to sing the national anthem. So proudly I love it all. National, so it's going to be almost as on the general draw all around the game.
And you're welcome back here to our coverage of the Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior Football Championship first round. It's day 2 of the opening weekend, and St. Eunan's have home advantage as they start the defence of the Dr. Maguire Cup against a Kilcar side who, when you look at the team lineups, as we said in our preview, we'll be hoping that they can get something out of this game. And just looking down at the Kilcar starting side, Conor Doherty with 22 is coming in to the starting lineup, and Mark McHugh and Stephen McBurdy both had the training tops on, so they did, and are not lining out from the whistle. The man who is in the middle is a Milford man. Mr. Pat Bard is going to take charge of this one. So we have James Kelly for St. Eunan's and Kieran McGinley for Kilcar. The ball is in the air. Up goes McGinley, playing in his 20th season for Kilcar. He wins the first of the tussles, and in this opening half, the visitors will be playing from left to right, kicking into the River Swilly and off the ground here in the Letterkenny venue. So Kilcar just holding on to possession. Conor Doherty has it on the edge of the 45 in the St. Eunan's half. It's laid off to Malloy. Malloy is now going to send it out to the left-hand side, where it's picked up by Brian O'Donnell. And Kilcar just quite happy to hold on to possession now, just hanging around the middle third here. Kieran McGinley is going to spread it out to the right-hand side as it goes to young Ryan McShane, a former county footballer at underage level, right up to under 20. Malloy is going to spread it out to the left-hand side, where O'Donnell is out there once again, going left, going right. Out comes the corner forward to lay it back, and Kilcar continuing to hold on to the ball here and holding on to possession. And St. Eunan's have left their men up top. They're 3, of course, with the new rules implemented this year. Conor O'Donnell is one of those. Now the ball positioned down the right hand side, where Patrick Verdi gets his first taste of it. Flicks it forward. Kilcar on the hunt for the opening score. Here comes the wing forward, Matthew McLean. McLean kicks it high, and that one is going to go over the bar. It's a good score by Matthew McLean. It's a good opening by the visitors. And listen, Brendan Devaney, it's the men from Towney who hit first on the scoreboard here.
Yeah, you said new rules there, Oisin. I was going to say, what new rules? It looked like a Donegal Championship game from years gone by. St. Eunan's dropping back into Shell. Kilcar playing it about. Of course, you're down 6 men in total in there, so space is well open. It was a simple pass inside by Patrick Bertie. Of course, St. Eunan's going across, realising his danger, but the danger is then you're going to leave somebody else loose. And I saying Matthew McLean, who's been integral to that fight back of Kilcar, cracking a great score, Oisin, because the breeze was kind of against him there. He hit the ball out and it came across beautifully.
And Kilcar have the ball back again here in the opening minutes of this encounter as they go on the hunt for yet another score. It comes back the way to Matthew McLean once again, looking to pull the strings here for the man from Towney. Lays it off to Owen McHugh. 2 of the 3 county men for Kilcar starting. McHugh is one of those. His cousin Ryan on the sideline with that shoulder injury picked up in the All-Ireland final. McBurty is there as well. Owen McHugh's going to lay that one back to Brian O'Donnell now. O'Donnell's found a bit of space onto the edge of the D. Bit of space opens up just on the edge of the 20. That one's chipped over the bar. And it's another score for Kilcar. And the visitors are leading here by 2 points to no score, and the wing-back Brian O'Donnell getting his name on the score sheet too. A lively enough start by the visitors.
Yeah, all too simple to watch. And you look at it, we're looking at the zonal defence, and we've seen it in the All-Ireland final. If you're sitting like that and a man gets a run on you, and that time O'Donnell just ran at the St Eunan's defence, they're flat-footed, but it's all about possession. As you know, big job here on young Fintan Doherty in here today. St Eunan's won that kick out, because possession, as we see at all levels now, is key. And going back to Kieran McGinley, who won that initial throw in 20 years he's going for Kilcar. What a servant, but great start from Kilcar.
And now St Eunan's on their first attack in this game. Owen McGeehan's out ahead of the defender coming across the 21. Now with support is Keeley. Keeley's going to lay that one back to Porrick Boyle. Boyle's closed out. Kieran Tobin now moving forward with that right leg heavily strapped. Philip Doherty gives it back to Boyle, and now they're going to spread it over to the right hand side to Conor O'Donnell Sr. Of course, no sign of his younger brothers today, both Shane and Niall off duty following their exploits with the county. It's flicked forward to Owen McGeehan, who's crowded out and swarmed by the Kilcar defence, but the referee Pat Barrett says they were too heavy handed, and it's going to be a free to St Eunan's just on the edge of the D. And this should be a simple enough tap over for Owen McGeehan, kicking into the clubhouse end of the ground. Just looking at the flags off his left shoulder, it seems to be blowing across field today, but Owen McGeehan looking to open his account this afternoon and St Eunan's account with over 4 minutes played here. Here comes McGeehan now on the right foot, splits the posts, and St Eunan's are off the mark, Brendan.
Yeah, listen, Owen McGeehan, obviously the most dangerous man in that Eunan's full forward line, and as that ball was being played about, he's free in there. He comes out for the short pop pass, and it's Owen McHugh who comes around after him and then fouls him, because McGeehan has the march on him, and you just wonder, that's the thing about Kilcar, the full back line has never been that strong, and I think it's all about possession. Their strength has always been going forward, as you see there, because if there's one man they need to pick up on that Eunan's forward line, it's McGeehan.
Yeah, working very hard for Eunan's there was Owen Winston, who got the ball flicked away. Conor O'Donnell Jr. now kicks it over the top and into the path of Porrick Boyle. Porrick Boyle homing in on that 21, but again there's enough blue shirts there just to force him back the way, waiting for support. Winston arrives in the age of the 45, and it's Conor O'Donnell Sr. who's looking to pull the strings once again. Feeds it to Tobin now. Tobin again looking up to see what the movement's like, and as he skips round Matthew McLean. Effort coming in, looks like James Kelly here, comes off the upright and it breaks. Conor Doherty is the man that picks it up and clears it to safety for Kilcar. That would have been a 2 points apiece game. However, it stays 2-1 to Kilcar with that let off, and now they're going to work it up the left hand side, but again they have to wait for support as Matthew McLean just slows the pace down and waiting for players to make their way into the other half of the field, and one of those is Owen McHugh, son of James McHugh, of course, a 92 All-Ireland winner and a man that has tasted senior championship success as well, just like his son did back in 2017. Owen McHugh coming back inside the D and stepping onto the left foot, and that one is helped over the bar by the goalkeeper Fintan Doherty. And the white flag is raised for the third time here for Kilcar. It's the first for Owen McHugh as they lead 3-1. Yeah, good score from McHugh on the left foot there. Serious pace. He's going to get in around them danger areas, but can he finish? And he just about got enough behind that. And you often see that with a weak foot there. You're trying to just get it chipped over the bar and no more. And really, Doherty almost got hands to that to push it out, but it was creeped over the bar. But again, all about possession. That kick-outs ended up over the sideline. It's a simple tap back. St Eunan's are retreating back in, and I think against this Kilcar team that could be like a dangerous tactic, because when they get inside in that zone they have so many people who can break the line. McGinley linking up with McHugh as they create another attack here in the St Eunan's half. This is Patrick McBrearty now looking to run at them. McBrearty going toe to hand, the captain of course of Donegal that led them to the All-Ireland final this year. Lays it back to Conor Doherty. Straight away there was two marking McBrearty. Darragh Mulgrew was one of those. Normally not named to start at cornerback. Good interception by Conor O'Donnell Sr. Launches one up the field to McGeehan. McGeehan's out ahead of the defender. Good turn by McGeehan. McGeehan into the D, onto the 21. Chance of a goal here for St Eunan's. And that one is kicked over the bar by Conor O'Donnell Jr. And a quick break by St Eunan's. Brilliant interception by Conor O'Donnell Sr. that started the attack. It was finished by Conor O'Donnell Jr., who's actually down and hurt himself here. But St Eunan's have closed it, a 3-2 game, but it could have nestled into the back of the net there.
Yeah, counter-attack, Oisin. It's the first time we've seen the team really, push the counter-attack with a kick pass. And that time you had Conor O'Donnell Senior, who's a great reader of the game. He's seen the Kilcar were messing about with the ball in the corner, and again McBurty with that lazy pass out, and he intercepted it and straight away delivered it forward. And there's one thing about McGeehan, he's a brilliant ball winner, 1-on-1. He's really good at anticipating and getting his body across the ball. When he turned there, maybe the goal was on for him, but Duck was coming flying in there, Conor O'Donnell Jr., and there was very much a chance of a goal. But I suppose when you don't get the goal, at least the score come out of it from a Eunan's perspective. But again, Kevin Campbell here, who's deputised in at goals for Kilcar, it was a position.
His first appearance in 2 years.
That's it. So it's a big ask now, and can Eunan squeeze up and try and get the advantage of that in the kick out, because we've seen so many games swing on kick outs in the past.
Okay, the kick by Campbell goes towards the middle, and again the biggest man on the field is Kieran McGinley, and he's able to pluck it out of the air, and Kilcar on another attack here. They look dangerous moving forward, Kilcar. Conor Doherty flicks that one back to McGinley, and it's going to go to Brian O'Donnell once again. O'Donnell laying it out to the right hand side. It's picked up by Gary Malloy. Malloy sends it back to McLean, who's going for a 2-pointer. It's kicked high, but there's not enough on it. Oh, it's caught by the Kilcar forward, who drops the ball at the last second. And there was real danger there for St Eunan's, but they're able to come away with it. And Peter Devine is able to clear the danger, but the forward Conor O'Donnell for Kilcar somehow was able to catch that ball, but there wasn't enough for him to get turned. In the meantime, St Eunan's back up into the Kilcar half, and it's with Owen Winston once again. Winston's going to spread it out to the right hand channel and look to build an attack with Porrick Boyle. On the clock, 9.5 minutes. Kilcar continue to lead here 3-2. St Eunan's look to tie up the game. Tobin flicks it over the top into Conor O'Donnell with a nice flick there to Devine. Devine sets up the right boot, sends it over the bar. That's a good score by Peter Devine. It's well worked by St Eunan's. We're level pegging here now, 3 apiece, Brendan.
Yeah, lovely flick on. We were 3 Conor O'Donnells on the pitch, and that was one of them was involved in that. To flick on there, using his head, because if he had taken that ball, he would have came into contact. He flicked it on to Peter Devine, who had broken out from his ranks in defence, and calmly tapped the ball over the bar for an equaliser. So it's been a fairly close opening, but that was the second goal opportunity, first for Kilcar, and I think that came down to the strength of Eamon Doherty back in there. He just used his strength to out-muscle the Kilcar man inside Conor O'Donnell and strip the ball away from him.
Oh, brilliant tackle in there by James Kelly to pop the ball out of the grasp of Brian O'Donnell, but Kilcar have it back, tap and go now by Kieran McGinley. McGinley's going to work it quickly up the field, goes to Conor Doherty once again. Here's McBurty ahead of him. Darren Mulgrew's looking to tag McBurty. McBurty gets round Mulgrew. Here's McBurty now homing in for a fisted effort that drops over the bar. McBurty's got his first of the day, and Kilcar go back in front 4-3.
Yeah, simple score from McBurty there, and you're saying St Eunan's realising the danger there, and I suppose Darren Mulgrew, as you would, and you've seen it even when he came on the last day in the All-Ireland final, how the Kerry defender stood off him on his left side, because he still has to wind up to get the shot away, but if you play him too far, that's an experienced player, and that time he's seen the opportunity to rush, then inside of Mulgrew there, and from a tight angle fisted the ball over the bar to Kilcar their lead again. 7
points here at the O'Donnell Park, 4-3 to Kilcar. We've had 7 different scores so far. We'll give you those in just a second. One of them is Owen McHugh. He's carrying the ball forward at the moment, running at the St Eunan's defence. Flicks it in, chance of a goal here is there for Kilcar. They need to get it back to McBurty, and McBurty slots it over the bar, does he? Yeah, back-to-back scores by Patrick McBurty, and that 4-3 advantage now becomes 5-3. Back-to-back scores from the Donegal captain. And the other scores, Owen McHugh, Brian O'Donnell and Matthew McLean all for Kilcar, Owen McGeehan, Conor O'Donnell Jr. and Peter Devine for St Eunan's. But just as St Eunan's got back level pegging, the big gun for Kilcar stepping up.
Yeah, stepping up. And that time again, it was that Owen McHugh, you look at line breakers, and that's the key to this game. Can you break the line when the defensive shield is put up? And Owen McHugh can do that. He just ran straight through the heart of the Eunan's defence. And again, it was O'Donnell that might have had a goal opportunity. Again, just out-muscled a bit in that Eunan's defence, but giving it back to this trusty left foot of Patrick, coming on the loop from that tight angle. A simple score for him.
Ball spread over to Conor Doherty. Doherty now working it as far as the 45 in the St Eunan's half, coming back the way to the wing back, which is Brian O'Donnell, one of their scorers today. He's looked lively, so he has Brian O'Donnell. And Kilcar, in fairness to them, they've looked very, very lively in this championship encounter. And the odds were stacked against them going into this game, but with St Eunan's down so many bodies, they're deservingly in front here. There's a challenge there on O'Donnell, but the referee, Pep Barrett, says play away. Owen Winston's looking to clear the danger. Sensible football from Winston to go to the opposite side of the field and give it to Conor O'Donnell Sr., who's just slowing the thing down and waiting for players to arrive in the area. Gives it off now to James Kelly. And St Eunan's are going to look to build something once again with Kieran Tobin. Tobin now crossing into the Kilcar half. Ahead of him is Conor O'Donnell Jr. It takes off, but Tobin is able to kick the ball away. No foul, says referee, and Kilcar are going to work it up the field, launch forward into the path of McBurty once again. Turns on to the left peg, looking for a big score here, Patrick McBurty, but that one's going to drop out to the right and wide, and believe it or not, that's the first wide off the game we have today. And it remains Kilcar 5 points, St Eunan's 3 points. The kick goes short from the goalkeeper, Fintan Doherty, who's in instead of Sean Patton today, looking for Boyle and is able to find him. He didn't touch the ball on the ground, so play continues. And Conor O'Donnell Sr. once again giving the signal, telling the men to get up in front of goals, and just slowing the pace down again as St Eunan's with Owen Winston, trying to dictate the pace of this fixture. Looking to get back into it. St Eunan's, the home side, trailing by 2. The defending champions trailing by 2. It goes into Philip Doherty. Doherty gives it now to McGeehan. McGeehan is going to come back as far as the 45. Feeds it into young Doherty. And the centre again is Tobin. Tobin looks up to see what's happening. Here comes one into the D now. That's kicked forward. Tobin takes the return. Can't hold on to it. McGeehan's picked it up. Takes a shoulder, gives a shoulder, trying to find a wee bit of space to break free. There in support is Owen Winston. Winston thought about launching in a high one as well, opted against it, and has carried the ball back now to Conor O'Donnell, just on the edge of the Kilcar half. So St Eunan's are going to reset. Peter Devine is out wide if he wants to use him. Instead, Conor O'Donnell's going to go to Winston once again, and they've been patient here as they try to break down this Kilcar defence. Winston's going to go for a 2-pointer. He's hit one here, but it goes out to the left and wide. It wasn't too far wide from Winston, so it stays at a 5-3 game. And we're about to hit the halfway mark, bang on the halfway mark of the opening half. And it's still a 2-point advantage to the men from the south of the county.
Yeah, and I suppose just on possessions, it's kickouts. Kilcar have had much the better of the kickouts, and I think that's probably given them extra scoring opportunities, and probably maybe could have had a goal or two. Eunan's had that opportunity on the break. Just looking a wee bit more settled out round midfield there, and just in that second last attack there, brilliant tackle from Ryan McShane. We're not seeing enough of that. Actually, players actually go and commit into the tackle, out the pitch. They're waiting inside until they get into a certain zone and try and get a double up. But that time McShane come out in a great steal on Tobin.
Highlands coverage, of course, in association with Highland Motors in the Mountaintop and Letterkenny. Check them out at highlandmotors.ie. And of course, we are also streaming with the Donegal GA new streaming service, which is brought to you by streamsport.ie. All the details, of course, are on their social media channels. Owen McHugh going left, going right, looking for another score. However, that one drops well out to the left and wide, a second wide of the game for Kilcar. It remains at 5-2. And every time Owen McHugh runs at the St Eunan's defence, you think there's going to be something coming off it, Brendan. Yeah,
definitely. And because he kind of comes out from deep as well at times, actually it can be hard, because the Eunan's defence, as we see, once you go zonal, you're stepping off players and you're allowing players to get a run at you. And listen, Owen McHugh is brilliant at that. He's brilliant at breaking the lines, but Eunan's now have won the possession.
Kicked in by Conor O'Donnell Sr. The ball breaks, the chase is on. Kieran McGinley is there first. Is there a push in the back? Pat Barrett says yes, there was. It's going to be a free to Kilcar. It's taken quickly, and Conor O'Donnell, the chase is on here too, soccer style, kicks it forward to Matthew McLean now. McLean again just taking his time as he goes into the St Eunan's half in front of the leisure centre, the Aura Leisure Centre side of the ground. Brian O'Donnell's coming up to join the attack, gives it to Kieran McGinley. McBurdy just giving a few instructions there for players to move forward. Oh, this is good by Kieran McGinley. That's a classy point by Kieran McGinley. Class from the man that's started his 20th season, and now that advantage of Kilcar is out to 3. They lead 6-3. That's a fine score, Brendan.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a man Ocean has done 20 years there, because he's like a spring chicken out there. He's been fielding balls, and he's been all over
that, huh?
He's been fielding balls, and he's been right in the thick of it, Ocean. That was a brilliant point. Of course, he was in the county squad and out a few times. Listen, one of those real soldiers in terms of Kilcar football, and I tell you what, they'll miss him badly when he's not there, but as it is, Ocean, Ocean, he still is their main man around midfield, but particularly the likes of Owen Dowling out today. You know, he is the big man out in that middle, and he's a serious a kick-out strategy for Kilcar.
Winston's delivery into Owen McGeehan wasn't good. It was picked up there with ease by the cornerback Pádraig Carr, another of the veterans for Kilcar. When Conor Doherty has it, has to go back the way to Pádraig McShane. Spreads it over to the far side, and away go Kilcar with tons of room now, working it down the left-hand channel. Ryan McShane has it, but has to stop and wait for support. Eunans had enough men back, but we're just waiting in blue jerseys to step into the half of the Cathedral Town side. On the clock, 18 minutes played. It's a 6-3 game here to Kilcar. Kieran McGinley, Patrick McBurdy, Owen McHugh all playing starring roles so far for the visiting Townie side. This is McBurdy now, who's been marked by Darren Mulgrew. Mulgrew's had his hands full with him for the last couple of minutes. Malloy now spreads it out to Brian O'Donnell, who's shown the dummy there to Oran Winston. He was teeing it up for a 2-pointer. Winston closed him out. Now it comes to McGinley once again. Is there another one coming from the big midfielder? Matthew McLean. And it goes. Here's McBurdy now. Is there enough room on the left peg for Patrick McBurdy? He's missed one on the left foot. But this time he finds the target. McBurdy gets his 3rd point of the game. And now Kilcar are leading with, 11 minutes to go to the break. And they have a 7-3 advantage. It's a 4-point advantage. And 3 of those 4 scores have come from Patrick McBurdy.
Yeah, and again, all too easy. Ocean, Kilcar are under no rush when they get possession, because they know that they're going to conjure an opportunity for one of their marksmen, and that's usually McBurdy in the last few minutes. That's 4 in a row from Kilcar. They've really taken hold of this game. They've won the kick out again, Ocean, which they're doing continuously, and when they do, they know they've got extra numbers. As we're seeing here, you've got 4 or 5 obviously easy passes on. Eunans are dropping into a deep shell. They'd be better coming out and trying to attack and put pressure on, because while you're sitting there, Kilcar are hand passing around and just coming out now. Obviously Eunan's missing a lot of players here, but the tactics now is suiting Kilcar in terms of working opportunities, because it's been too simple for them. Every one of them shots that they've taken of them 4 have been without pressure, and that's the worst thing you can do as a defensive team sitting in. So they got to get a bit tighter, try and get hands on a man, at least make it difficult for Kilcar to get the shot away. But listen, taking nothing away from Kilcar, they've taken all their opportunities.
Gweedore are leading Glenfin into the closing 10 minutes of the game, 112 to 1-6. It's a 15-9 fixture there in favour of Gweedore already today. As we know, McCool's going to the bridge and beating St Michael's. And our draw are up against Airua this evening as well. We'll get a score from that one for you shortly. Here at the O'Donnell Park, with 20 minutes played, it's Kilcar 7-3 up against St Eunan's, and Kilcar very much full value for their advantage at the moment. They've been the better of the 2 teams. Now it's a hugely depleted St Eunan's team. Just to remind you, no Shane O'Donnell, no Niall O'Donnell, there's no Sean Patton here today, there's no Keelan Ward, and there's a lot of others who are absent today from the St Eunan's team. And Kilcar, well, the odds were very high for them to get a victory today, but I'll tell you what, they've stepped up, so they have.
They've a couple of interesting subs as well.
Yeah, they do. They've still got Stephen McBurdy and Mark McHugh lining up in there. And here's Patrick McBurdy, the older of the brothers. Sends that one over to the 21, looking for Owen McHugh. But St Eunan's are able to get their hand on it. Looking to break out now is Pádraig Boyle. And they've done well. But there's a foul. The referee, Pat Barrett, said, yeah, it's fouling one of St Eunan's players in the D. Eamon Doherty, the veteran, is going to take this one now for St Eunan's. It's kicked away quickly and to one of the youngest men in the team, one of the oldest to one of the youngest, young Philip Doherty now.
Yeah, Eamon's going 20 years as well now to think about it. I should see him as McGinley.
Yeah, going a long time, Eamon Doherty. By the way, our draw 7 points, Airua a point. And that one, of course, up in our draw 15 minutes into the first half in that game. Eamon Doherty picks up possession for St Eunan's, gives it to Kieran Tobin. Tobin, of course, the man who captained St Eunan's to that Dr. Maguire success. And we've seen in the All-Ireland series, Brendan, at inter-county level, that all teams lost a game. So it is. And the way we have this league structure now, and the group, or the way that the league is done for the championship here, it's not the be-all and end-all if you lose a game at the opening stage, is it?
Yeah, which is that thing about championship, Oisin. Do we keep the buzz and the life in it, that everything's mattered, it's all on the line when it isn't? So it's, I suppose, getting that balance right, Oisin. You know, we look across the Tyrone's championship.
Tobin
there.
wants a 2-pointer here.
Yeah, Part's already blown for the foul.
Did you use won all your games last year, didn't you?
We lost one. Who did we lose to?
In the championship, that is.
Aye. We lost to
Putting you on
Gidor
the
here.
spot now.
No, you're right. We lost to Gidor here because we had beat Kilcar and Eve Conlon in the opening
That's
game,
right,
so
yeah.
we lost to Gidor. And then even though we beat Downlands, we ended up having to play in the prelim quarter-final. You just
took
scored.
the long route.
We did indeed. We're playing week on week, which is another thing, actually, which going back to even your playing days. I think the old home and away third game, you've got a home gate either club, and then go to a third if it's a 1-1. I think that's the way to do it, you know, and go into quarter, semi and final.
So we are watching Conor O'Donnell Jr. with us free, going for a 2-pointer just outside the arc. He's hit with the right foot, but it's tailed out to left and wide. That will be marked as a wide for St Eunan's, and it stays at a 7-3 game here in this encounter. 25 minutes in the second half. Gweedore 1-12, Glenfin 1-9. So it's that's the latest score coming through there, and Glenfin certainly making a game of it. They've got the last 3 points, and it's down to 3 now is the difference with 5 to go. Is there a big dramatic finish in that tie at Magheragallen? There hasn't been anything too dramatic here in the last couple of minutes at the O'Donnell Park. It's still a 7-3 game. The last 4 scores have come from Kilcar, 3 of which have been from Patrick McBurty, all from play. Matthew McLean, Brian O'Donnell, Owen McHugh and Kieran McGinley have also chipped in with points for the Townie men. While it's been a while since St Eunan's have gotten the score sheet, Owen McGeehan, Conor O'Donnell Jr. and Peter Devine getting those points for St Eunan's, who really have struggled with what Kilcar have brought to the table today, Brendan.
Yeah, and indeed, when you look at it, Kilcar lost their first 7 games of the league and were staring relegation in the face. They drew the next one, and then they won the next 4. So they're on a bit of a roll, even avoided the relegation playoffs. So they've steadied the ship, and then, as we were saying, got players back and got to grips with it. And I suppose it was a tough enough start for Mark Sweeney coming in this year. I mean, he came on sub last year as a player. He was put into the Kilcar management, and that's been, I suppose, they've went local. No Michael Cunningham, I say Kieran McGinley and along with them. So they've stayed local, they've went local, and they've started to pull things together. And listen, as long as you stay up in the league, I think it's the same at every level, even for Donegal and for any team out there, the top teams, they just want to stay in Division 1 and then build the championship. So now Kilcar are coming in on a good note.
We're into the closing 5 minutes here at the O'Donnell Park of this opening half. Kilcar again are on the attack, looking to build on their 4-point advantage. Picking it up now is the centre half-back Ryan McShane. Again, Kieran McGinley's hanging out to his right, but he decides to come back to his left to another good experienced man on the ball, Matthew McLean. Matthew McLean now chips it over to Conor Doherty, who sends that one under the edge of the 13. And again, it's Kilcar just down that left-hand channel, holding on to possession, looking quite controlled, looking quite comfortable as the light drizzle appears here in the O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny. Very light rain at the moment, so it's going to make for about a slippiness on the top of the field. So it is sideline ball for St Eunan's. Conor O'Donnell, senior. Well, he thought he was going to take it. It's actually going to be Kieran Tobin, but St Eunan's will be looking to get back into this now in the closing 3 or 4 minutes. Try and get a couple of scores on it, and
it's a long time since that Peter Devine point now back, Oisin, and really, I say Eunice could do with something just before half time, because it's still a low scoring game. Nothing like the new rules that we were hoping for. It's been a very tactical game, possession based game. It's like the old rule, it's like the last year's game just morphed into an 11v11 contest out the pitch, and I think that's why it's been so low scoring. But as you look at it, the crowd got involved in a couple of tackles. Another thing we're not seeing in the modern game, when you play zonal, people are standing off, and we don't see the kind of tackles we used to, or players getting about each other. But everyone's so well conditioned that it's night after night of training, possession. The other team are playing the percentage in terms of the tackle, and it leads for a wee bit of stalemate out there, we see at times. And listen, it's first game in the championship, I know, and as you were mentioning, Oisin, there's nothing on the line here, and that's the feeling you get from the two teams, the way they're going about this match.
Still 3 minutes to go, just under 3 minutes, and then whatever Pat Barrett's going to play on top of that. Kieran McGinley is going to run it the St Eunan's midfielders who are lining up defensively. That is Keely and Kelly. And again, Kilcar just swapping it out to the left-hand channel. It's picked up over there now by Porrick. Back it comes into the middle to Owen McHugh, who's been very effective in this first half for Kilcar. Showing his pace and showing his quality as a player. Here's Kieran McGinley again, busting through the tackle. McGinley onto the right boot, and there's another good score by Kieran McGinley. He's got 2 here, and that's the last 5 scores have all come from the Kilcar men. McGinley's got 2 of those. McBurty has got 3 of those. It's a net 3 game. It's a 5-point advantage, and they're full worth for it, so they are.
Yeah, and it goes back to, I think, the zone of defending. Eunans have the players back. McGinley, there was at least 3 Eunans players could have taken him. What happens is when you're standing in a zone, no one's actually picking anybody up. McGinley makes a quick break, and already he's got the jump on you. And again, brilliant score from him, keeping his composure. And again, Kilcar won the kick out. And I suppose that's the biggest thing, Oisin. We've seen it right across, especially in the new rules, especially in a game like this. Whoever has possession is going to own the match and own the scoreboard, and that's what Kilcar is doing. But again, simple run from McGinley, not tracked.
Again, McBurty and McHugh linking up down this left-hand side. It goes into space in the edge of the 20. Here's McBurty looking to bust through the challenge. But St Eunan's have men there back. But McBurty again is able to get out of that group of players, kick it away to Conor Doherty, who's brave and goes into the tackle head first. Does well. Back it comes now to Kieran McGinley, with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go to the half-hour mark and the end of the half, plus whatever's going to be added on by our official today, Pat Barrett. Chance of another score. This one's kicked high. Matthew McLean's not happy about it. It's going to drop in there in front of the goals, and St Eunan's are able to deal with it. Mulgrew can't get there. It's easy enough for McBurty to chip it up. That's given to Kieran O'Donnell, and now the young 15 is Conor O'Donnell. Back to the experienced Owen McHugh. He feeds it to the wing back, Gary Malloy. Again, Kieran McGinley's there looking to pull the strings for Kilcar. McGinley now sends it across the 45. It's picked up by Owen McHugh, and now he's going to run at Kevin Keeley. McHugh turns on to the left, and that's a good score by Owen McHugh, and Owen McHugh's now got 2 in this game, and Kilcar goes 6 points in front. St Eunan's are struggling here at the close of the break. It's a 9-3 game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you look at it, they're playing through certain players, and listen, McGinley obviously has been brilliant at midfield. So was our half back line coming forward. Aaron Gallagher, and as well as Jared Malloy and O'Donnell and Ryan McShane. They've played really well in their half back line, and then you have the brilliance of Owen McHugh and Patrick McBurty. They're really the fulcrum of the attack. They're making everything happen. They're drawing players. They're either scoring themselves or they're setting up the play. I think that's the difference when you have that level of player on the pitch. That's what's separating the two sides, because Kilcar are lording it again and the kick out. That's where the damage is starting, but then the ball's been transferred to McGinley or McHugh or the Raiders, Patrick McBurty, or the Raiders coming from the half back line, and they're all doing their jobs, and at this point it's all one-way traffic for Kilcar.
Yeah, and they're on the hunt for another score. They're leading here by 6, 9-3, but they want one before the half-time whistle goes. Again, they have the ball just over in that left-hand channel, just hugging the sideline at the Ora Leisure Centre of the ground. Back into the middle they come once again. Looking for it is Owen McHugh. McHugh now, ahead of him is Owen Winston. Away goes McHugh, running at this St Eunan's defence. Somehow is able to hold on to the ball. Back to Kieran McGinley. McGinley's going to go for 2, is he? Steps inside the arc, gives a shoulder. The ball breaks away. The corner forward, young O'Donnell. It's into the path now of the other O'Donnell. A scrappy in front of St Eunan's goal, and it's going to go out and be marked as a wide. So a let off for St Eunan's. Kieran McGinley's just talking to the referee. He thinks he was fouled. But we're going to have the half-time whistle here now coming up. The kick out is taken by Fintan Doherty, the goalkeeper of St Eunan's. There goes the half-time whistle, and St Eunan's have a bit of work to do. But the men from Towney have made their way to this side of the county, and they've been very, very impressive in this opening half as they lead here by 6 scores. Patrick McBurty has scored 3 points today. Kieran McGinley and Owen McHugh, who have also been hugely influential in this tie, they've got a brace apiece, and then you can add in Matthew McLean and Brian O'Donnell. They have 9 points on the scoreboard. St Eunan's have 3. They came from Owen McGeehan, Conor O'Donnell Jr. and Peter Devine, but they came early in the game and they've really struggled in the second quarter of this tie, and they're certainly going to have a bit of work to do. But from a Kilcar perspective, the management and the players, and even Ryan McHugh, who's not featured, coming walking off the field here, they'll be very happy, Brendan.
Yeah, he has a smile on his face, and if you're from Kilcar and you're watching this anywhere in the world, wherever you're at, you would have a smile on your face, because they came up here when this I suppose fixture first came out, the way Eunans were playing and the way the two teams were coming into this. Eunans at home, a lot of people are looking, this is a definite one. You look at the game last year, but of course, as you said, Oisín, Eunan's down a lot of players, not only the four lads in the county there, but also the lads missing them from injury and that as well. So you had a lot of players that aren't there, and as again the experienced players of Kilcar and the two county men in particular have really been to the fore here. Oisín McBurty and Owen McHugh, but McGinley's been brilliant to say. But all round the pitch, they've come at Eunans, and really Eunans are sitting off on that zonal. The Kilcar are just waiting for the right moment at the right time. And there's one thing about Kilcar, and they've always been very good come forward. They've always had attack-based players, and you're seeing that today. Once they want kick out and they have possession, they're going to create an opportunity, and it's really on that kick out. Actually, the game has been, this half has been dominated by Kilcar on the kick outs. That's given them the platform. They load up the attacks, and Eunan's been a bit short at the back, haven't been able to cope with it, haven't been able to stop the runners. So Kilcar have been full value for that 6-point lead at half time.
By the way, one other full-time score from today, as we know, McCool's beat St Michael's, while Gweedore have also notched up a win on the opening weekend. They defeated Glenfin down at Mahragallen. They had 2 points to spare in the end. 113 to 111 was how that game finished. But at half-time here at the O'Donnell Park, St Eunan's have a bit of work to do, because the visitors Kilcar are leading by 6. It's Kilcar 9, St Eunan's 3 points, and you can join us for second half coverage shortly again.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.
Forward, Kilcar on the hunt for the opening score. Here comes the wing forward, Matthew McLean. McLean kicks it high, and that one is going to go over. The Hunt's found a bit of space onto the edge of the D. Bit of space opens up just on the edge of the 20. Over 4 minutes played here. Here comes McGeehan now on the right foot, just like his son did back in 2017. Owen McHugh coming back inside the D and stepping onto the left foot, and that one is McGeehan's out ahead of the defender. Good turn by McGeehan. McGeehan into the D, onto the 21. Chance of a goal here for St Eunan's, and that flicks it over the top into Conor O'Donnell with a nice flick there to Devine. Devine sets up McBurty. McBurty gets round Mulgrew. Here's McBurty now homing in for a fisted effort at the moment, running at the St Eunan's defence. Flicks it in. Chance of a goal here is there for Kilcar. They need to get it back to McBurty, and McBurty slots it over for players to move forward. Well, this is good, Bakir McGinley. That's a classy point, Bakir McLean. And it goes. Here's McBurty now. Is there enough room on the left peg for Patrick McBurty? He's missed one on the left foot. Here's Kieran McGinley again, busting through the tackle. McGinley onto the right boot, and there's another good by Owen McHugh. And now he's going to run at Kevin Keeley. McHugh turns on to the left, and that's a good score by Owen.
That will be recorded again on the no changes on either side at the top 10.
And you're welcome back here to the O'Donnell Park. We're about to start the second half of this Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior Football Club Championship round one encounter, and the defending champions St Eunan's have a lot of work to do because they trail here by 9 points to 3. The last man out of the changing room is young Fintan Doherty, the St Eunan's goalkeeper, and in the middle of the field for the throw-in once again we have James Kelly of St Eunan's and Kieran McGinley, who had an impressive first half for the Townie men. But it's all been all about Kilcar. We wait to see now if the hosts are going to show their defending champion medal in the second half. Kelly gets a hand at this time, does well to control it. The ball breaks away and it's been shadowed there by McGinley, and it's flicked forward, and now Owen McHugh just lays it off there to the 6 Ryan McShane, and it's Kilcar in the second half who are playing from right to left. They are kicking into the clubhouse end of the ground here, if you know the Letterkenny venue. And I suppose how crucial is it in these opening minutes from a St Eunan's point of view, Brendan, that they don't concede too much and this gap gets bigger as the game goes on.
Yeah, but James Kelly did well. He won the actual kick out, but you see the wet ball there. I've seen a couple of tackles come in, and it was Brian O'Donnell again back in there, right place at the right time to hoover up that breaking ball, but Kilcar swarming round him, and if that ball's a bit wet, Oisin, if you can get a couple of players around, you will get turnovers. But Kilcar have been very cute, manipulating the space. They've been changing the angles of the play, and they've been opening out the Eunan's defence, which left them 1-on-1s. So in that zone, you want to try and get 2 or 3 players around the man. Kilcar haven't allowed that. You know, they've used the space very well. And as you say, there's that man Owen McHugh. He's taking off again on a run.
Yeah, he's winning a big run so inside the D soccer stage, just nicks it out to the left hand side. Kilcar in the hunt for another score, and they've got one as well. That one is over the bar, and I'm just waiting to see to get the turnaround. I think it's one of those young corner forwards. Yeah, it is. It's the young 15 Conor O'Donnell, it seems to be, is that's got 13, it to the 13 actually. Yeah, Kieran O'Donnell,
yeah.
The other one. So he gets his first score of the game, and a good one it was as well. But again, been heavily involved in it, Owen McHugh. Yeah,
Owen McHugh just takes off. I suppose we only seen bits parts of him throughout the year with Donegal. You know, Jim did put him on in a lot of matches, and that's the kind of thing he does. And between the lines, he opens up the legs and he goes. You know, and that's what the danger that he is. When you put players 1-on-1 like that, if they can outpace you, you're going to be in trouble. And that time he lost control of the ball, scooped it out wide to O'Donnell, who had the simple task to tap it over the bar. And listen, if Eunan's are going to get back this first 10 minutes, they've got to try and eat into this lead. There hasn't been any sign of a 2-pointer. They had that 1-goal opportunity, but again, it all goes back to possession, and the men now in blue and yellow have that, and they are dictating the game because of that.
Would you have made a change at half time?
I think again, that the options are very limited. You look at big Sean Ryan or something like that. Maybe they come in, they'll get stuck into a man, because we haven't seen probably enough intensity in the tackle. The Kilcar, as I say, are great ball players. If you stand off them, they're going to do damage, as they've been doing. But again, it goes back, kick out lost there, and Kilcar have the ball, and they are good on the ball. They're good at coming back. And now with 11v11, as we're seeing here now, you look at Owen Winston there, he's tracking Ryan McShane, and it's 1v1 every time, and Kilcar now are doing damage.
Here comes Patrick McBurdy looking for his 4th point of the game, and he's got it as well. And that advantage now is out to 8 points for the man from Townie. Patrick McBurdy has 4. It's 11-3, so it is.
Yeah, again, McBurdy coming in. How often do we see that, Austin? He just hangs out on that right hand side there. He either tries to create the opportunity himself, or he comes on the loop. As we said, he's shown all sorts, because he went on the inside there when he was picked up by Mulgrew earlier in the first half. So that keeps you guessing then, is he going to go in, is he going to come out? Once he gets round at that angle, Oisin, that's a simple score for a man of his talent, and he's had such a big say in this match today. So different from the last year's occasion when Eunan's ran out easy winners in the end. Kilcar have come here and been by far the better team today.
Again, apart from Ryan McHugh, Kilcar are just about at full strength, and on the bench they do have Stephen McBurdy and Mark McHugh to come, but St Eunan's are down something like 8 or 9 starters, so half their team is missing today, be it in holidays or for whatever reason, but they are down a huge number of players for this opening round tie, including the county men, of course, Sean Patton, the 2 O'Donnells, Niall and Shane. Kieran Moore is not here today. Conor O'Donnell Jr. has kicked one well out to the right and wide, and that will be another wide for St Eunan's.
Yeah, he's been off form today. He'd normally give the home team here a lot more. Yeah, I was texting the lads. I didn't know they weren't back. Oisin, you know, I text Shane yesterday. You had at the park or something tomorrow, and he texted me back a picture list to say he was enjoying himself. So
we have Kieran Cannon, the Kilcar man, back in the studio, keeping us right in Kilcar. Andrew McLean's abroad. Jason Campbell is in Australia. Oran Dugan is in Abu Dhabi. And there's no Jack Haggerty, and then Ryan McHugh. So they're just not down Ryan McHugh. They're down a few bodies as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're controlling this game, so they are, and deserve to be in front. And St Eunan's really haven't looked to be in the mix in this tie at all. It's 11-3 game. We've already played almost 5 minutes of the second half, and there's a chance here to reduce it now maybe to a 6-point game with a 2-point free, and Conor O'Donnell Jr. is going to take this.
St
Eunan's actually haven't scored since the 10th minute.
Yeah, you know, you look at it, Shane, and Kieran's right. I think the difference is with Eunan's, you have very pivotal players that are missing, and who's done most of the damage today, you'd have to say, particularly Bertie, Owen McHugh and McGinley. So two of their county men have come back in and really been the difference. And Eunan's, no one's going right today, just hit the post there, Oisin, but you know, I think that's been the difference in the teams. You know, if you put the likes of a Kieran Moore, of a Shane O'Donnell into this team, they probably would have such an effect on the players around them, and a bit of ball carrying and setting up play and winning possession. So I think that's been the difference with the players that have been missing. And sure, if two teams were at full strength, we'd have a very different type of game here. But yeah, both players missing on both sides, but certainly more missing on the Eunan's ranks.
It's a sideline ball to Eunan's, which Kevin Keeley is going to take down this left hand side. It's flicked up to James Kelly, who's through a couple of challenges. Pat Barrett's going to blow for a free here. Tap and go by Kelly. Kelly has support now out the left hand side with Conor O'Donnell Senior stepping onto the edge of the arc. He's going to be met by Kieran McGinley right up as far as the 21. Out comes Owen McGeehan, who's had a relatively quiet day by his standards. Kieran Tobin has it now for the Letterkenny side. Conor O'Donnell once again busting through the challenge, just hugging the edge of the arc, needs support. James Kelly's there. Standing in the middle is Conor O'Donnell Jr. if he wants to use him. Young Philip Doherty. There's loads of space down this right hand side if he wants to use him. He sees him, and there's a chance here now for young Doherty to tee himself up. He's kicked it high and he's kicked it over the bar, and young Doherty's got his first score of the game. Now we are 36 minutes on the clock here at the O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny, and that is St Eunan's first score in nearly 27 minutes of football, Brendan.
Yeah, hard to believe. And we talk about the new rules in that, Oisin. You know, we might have seen a bit of that stalemate back in the day on the 15 and 15, but certainly the St Eunan's have had a few opportunities. They've had to post 3 times in this game, all in all, and they've had a couple of wides in there as well. But come back to this is the thing at the middle. This is the scrap for possession. The Eunan's have won this, Oisin, and
they're starting to get into it more now.
Bit of crowd behind them, and young Philip there, Doherty, fine footballer. He made that chance difficult for him because he waited and he hit it very late then, and when he hit it, that was a difficult opportunity and a great score from him, and he definitely has a prospect. But it goes back to this now, Oisin, about can Eunan's break down Kilcar? Can they start to put something on the scoreboard? Because we've seen from the bridge earlier today in a game that St Michael's were right out if they still managed to come back in.
Conor O'Donnell Senior just lays that one off to Devine. It's going to come out to Conor O'Donnell Jr. going for the 2-pointer. This one's kicked tight. We've got our first 2-pointer of the day, and it's come from the boot of Conor O'Donnell Jr., and that now means the fixture becomes an 11-6 tie. Back-to-back scores for St Eunan's here.
Yeah, and that was the difference in the bridge. There was back-to-back 2-pointers and then a goal from Carlos O'Reilly. He hit one of the 2-pointers as well, and that is the difference. You know, you hear the bit of crowd getting behind Eunan's, and games can switch, and the 2-point is a massive thing now. There's not that many players out there who would be that confident of kicking them, but certainly Conor O'Donnell Jr. is one of them, and you know, as he hasn't had the best of games today from what he normally would have, but that was a great first score from him, and if Eunan's can build on that now and start to make a bit of a game of this.
Half-time score in the intermediate, Fanet Gales 2-5, that's 11, Burt 9 points here at the O'Donnell Park. It's St Eunan's 6, Kilcar 11, and St Eunan's are on the attack. They're looking for another one, and this one drops over the bar, and that's now 3 scores in a row for St Eunan's. The latest one, and has got his first of the game as well, is Oran Winston, and now St Eunan's are starting to play a bit of football that we know, Brendan, that they can play.
Yeah, and listen, we've seen that in the first half. Eunan's, the Kilcar dominating, as you say, from that 10th minute when it was 3 each. They really dominated proceedings, and you know, at half time sometimes can be dangerous. You know, you have an inexperienced backroom team in there, you know, Mark Sweeney and the lads, so this is their first year in, and of course you're going to learn things as time goes on, but certainly that would have been a very happy dressing room, and Eunan's not. You know, you can imagine that management would have been biting at the boys. Let's give it a bit of fight here. There hasn't been enough, and we've seen probably a bit better from Eunan's in the second half. And now, actually, from a period of complete dominance, 11-3, it's back to 11-7. It's game on. We'll get a bit of excitement yet, Oisín. So now it's up to Kilcar to kind of get back to what they were doing well. But this again, Oisín, come back on Eunan's winning a couple of kickouts in a row, getting possession and profiting then from it. And that's what the game is turning on all the time here. It's all about that primary possession. Kilcar were lording it. Eunan's now have decided to fight that bit harder out round midfield for the kickouts, and they've won them, and they've started to pull Kilcar back in.
Yeah, and there's just a break in play here at the moment because there's a number of players who are just getting a bit of treatment following that collision. If you're just joining our coverage here on the Donegal GA TV stream, of course brought to you this year by streamsport.ie, you are very welcome along, and you can of course check them out with details of what is coming up over the next number of weeks. They're available on their social media channels. Play continues once again with Kilcar. Now the question's been asked of the visitors. The centre half back is Ryan McShane, who's bringing it forward. McShane goes to ground. The referee is saying that Darragh Mulgrew had a hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, big difference in the tackle, Oisín. Did you see that? You know, Eunan's coming after Kilcar out the pitch here in the halfway line. We've seen none of that in the first half. They went right back into their shell and allowed Kilcar to play. Now they're coming out realising, listen, the game's gone unless we go after the ball, and that's why you're seeing the game flip a bit. You know, you have a bit more intensity from Eunan's trying to go and chase after Kilcar instead of sitting and inviting them on.
Free to Kilcar. Matthew McLean takes it, goes for Patrick McBurty. McBurty out ahead of the St. Eunan's defence. It's Anthony Gallagher's taking him on. McBurty turns onto the left foot, and that one goes over the bar. And a top drawer score by Patrick McBurty, just to let St. Eunan's know, listen, hey, we're going to try and keep this advantage in favour of us, as Mark McHugh's about to come on as well, Brendan.
Sheer class from McBurty. What do you do about that, Oisín? Eunan's will be doing their best to pull it back in. There's not much, Barlow could do about that. McBurty's stepping right, going on that trusty left foot. We all knew what he was going to do. He's so far out there, Oisín. It's very hard to get tight, touch tight at that area of the pitch, and McBurty just swings that wand of a left foot of his and puts it over the bar and stops that bit of a rock where Eunan's had 3 in a row, including a 2-pointer.
And so it's plucked out of there by Owen McHugh. Good fetch by McHugh. Lays it off there to Conor Doherty. Mark McHugh's going to get his first touch of the ball now. Mark McHugh looking up to see what the options are. They're queuing up on the opposite side of the pitch. Kieran McGinley now has it. McGinley, of course, who scored 2 very impressive points in that opening half and was excellent from the middle of the park for them. Lays it off to McBurty once again. And St. Eunan's will have to keep an eye on the Donegal captain, because he has 5 points in this game so far today, and he's kicked a couple of clinkers. And St. Eunan's got back into the game to close it out to 11-4. They had 4 unanswered scores, one of which was a 2-pointer. Matthew McLean's going for a 2-pointer here. That goes out to the left and wide. It stays at 12-7. And on the clock, we're about to hit 43 minutes. Good kick to find Tobin. Tobin gives it now to Devine. Devine's going to bring it forward. It's with the other cornerback, Noah Barrett. Barrett feeds it to the experienced Conor O'Donnell Sr. now, who looks up and is checking to see what the movement's like. This is Tobin once again. Tobin has a couple of players lining up. He goes to Owen Winston. Winston now steps onto the arc. Ahead of him is McGeehan. Feeds it to McGeehan. McGeehan now gives it to Porrick Boyle. Back to McGeehan once again. Is there room here for McGeehan? It's on his wrong side. Out comes Winston again. He's already got one. He wants another one, Owen Winston. That drops over the bar. That's good scoring by Winston, and it closes the gap to 4 points once again. 12 plays 8 in favour of Kilcar.
Yeah, good score from Winston there, finding his range, you say, Oisín, and that's the difference. You've got to take that opportunity on. He was almost just outside the arc, but he had stepped in there just as he was lining up. There's a late tackle, I think, come in. He might have caught his foot, actually. He's down there looking for a bit of attention. But yeah, certainly better from Eunan's. And again, going back to possession, even that last opportunity, McBurty came from a kick out again, won in possession. So listen, everyone's the possession is getting an opportunity, and as I say, because of that experience and that ability, particularly from the likes of McBurty, that has been the difference why Kilcar are in this bit of a lead. But certainly it's been a lot better from St Eunan's in the second half. Very passive in that first half. Actually, not like championship at all.
Noel O'Donnell's coming in here to take the place of Owen Winston. And that's the first sub we've got today from the St Eunan's side. What's your thoughts on that, Brendan?
Yeah, Noel O'Donnell, listen, he can play anywhere. Really, he's coming out there. It looks like he's going to. It's a straight swap there. More often a defensive type player, Oisin's, but certainly a blow because Winston is a real warrior in the middle for him. But Keeley with a brilliant catch there from the Kilcar kick out. And we're seeing a bit better from Kilcar now. He's been fouled, and this will be in the territory of Duck and a potential Conor Donald Jr. and a potential 2-pointer.
By the way, our draw 210 Rua Ballyshannon 6 points is the latest score. Big CJ Malloy bundling the ball under the net to get another goal there for our draw, who are leading comfortably by 10 points in that fixture. We've already had a 2-pointer from Conor O'Donnell Jr. The only 2-pointer of the game. Is he going to get another one here? There's a free just inside the 45. It's slightly off to the right of the upright, kicking into the River Swilly end of the ground here in the second half. And this one's going to pull out to the left and wide, and that will be a third wide of the second half for St Eunan's. It stays 12.
Do you know what? Big miss there, Rush, because, and listen, difficult opportunity, but if he had planted that there for a 2-pointer, amazingly it would have been 12-10. And when you look at them first two scores in the second half, and sometimes that can set the tone a bit for you in terms of, looking like it's 11-3 and the game is in your hands. But as we're seeing so many times, as we mentioned from the bridge earlier, the game can't switch. That could have been 12-10, but now Kilcar have won the kick out again, and can they extend that lead?
So Kilcar now working the ball up the field. Conor Doherty has it once again for the men from Towney. Feeds it out to Patrick McBurdy, who's running at the St Eunan's defence. Lays that one off. Back it comes now to Mark McHugh. They're lining up on the edge of the 45. It's fed to Owen McHugh. Owen McHugh has Brian O'Donnell. If he wants to use him, O'Donnell just steps inside the arc. Going to be quite happy to go back to Mark McHugh now. Is McHugh going to try for a 2-pointer? Thought about it. Darren Mulgrew's going to close him out. And St Eunan's are going to push them back now just to the edge of the St Eunan's half. And it's with Kieran McGinley again. Kieran McGinley now just thinking into the right. McGinley pops it over the top, into the path of Brian O'Donnell. Just took his eyes off at the last second, but he got it back into his possession. Feeds it to McBurdy once again. Into Brian O'Donnell. Is this a fisted point for Kilcar? The white flag's going to be raised. Brian O'Donnell's got 2 in this game now. That's a 13-8 fixture once again.
Yeah, Patrick McBurdy was looking for that back. He thought the goal was on. It's very interesting when Anton Geller stands up to him there. Actually, he's very much playing him, like giving himself all this room so he doesn't get caught on the side.
Kick-outs. St Eunan's been caught in the kick out. Kieran O'Donnell cut it out. It's going to be fed now to Matthew McLean. Oh, McLean kicks it well out to the left and right. A let off for St Eunan's, Brendan.
Yeah, a let off is right, Oisin, and that can happen in a game. Doherty's in there. Listen, he has got a very sweet strike, Oisin, but you're trying to pinpoint. We've seen it even with Sean Patton a few times. You can't just undercook that ball because you're talking about inches in terms of beating a man's hand and getting to just into that space and behind that first press where he was trying to go there. But certainly that was a let off for St Eunan's there. But as I say, Patrick McBurdy is having a real battle there with Gallagher. He's trying to stand in a way, Oisin, not to let Patrick unload that left foot, but then Patrick's rushing him on the inside as well. So it's that bit of play of how much do you give him the room not to come on the left, and then how much then can Patrick maybe try and exploit you. It's a difficult one.
It's a 13-8 game. It's a 5-point advantage to the Towney men. Chasing it down for St Eunan's is Porrick Boyle. Boyle picks it up down in that pocket down in the left-hand channel. As Devine looks to create something now, but that's brilliantly worked by Kilcar to pop it out of his grasp. And away come the Towney men again. Mark McHugh just clatters into Conor O'Donnell Jr. And the referee, Pat Barrett, is blown for a free to Kilcar. Mark McHugh's asking for assistance here to get on with it quickly. We'll have to say hello to Sean Cannon, who's tuned in. He won 3 under-21 championships in the 70s with Kilcar, and he's listening to this in County Dublin. So hello to you, Sean, this afternoon. Things going the way of your former club, that's for sure at the moment. And on the clock we have under 12 minutes to go. St Eunan's going to have to dig deep. They need a bit more, so they do. James Kelly looking to lead the way by forcing that turnover. Now Kevin Keeley has it centre field, but there's nothing really up top for him at the moment. McGeehan is able to get away from the cornerback Barry McGinley. McGinley's done a good enough job on McGeehan today, so he has. He's kept the lively St Eunan's forward quiet. back to Conor O'Donnell Senior. Just ships a challenge. Looking across that 45. See what the options are. He's going to come back the way now to Noel O'Donnell once again, who's featured good in this game since he was sprung from the bench. Conor O'Donnell Senior goes out to James Kelly. There's going to be a double substitution for Kilcar coming up. Steve McBurdy's one of them in the meantime. Kelly runs into the traffic and is forced back the way. Conor O'Donnell Senior once again cross the 45. Is he going to have a go here? Pops it under the path of Noel O'Donnell. Lays it back to Conor O'Donnell. It's on his wrong side here. Just flicks it in. Oh, it's opened up. Goal chance. Oh, Kieran Tobin. The goal just opened up for him. He's got the point, Tobin, so he has his first of the game. That's 13 plays 9, but a real big chance there for a Eunan's goal.
Oh, huge, isn't it? But it just set us up for a bit of a grandstand finish here. And listen, Conor O'Donnell again, using the experience, Senior, realising that a score probably is not enough. A 1 pointer's not enough to pull Kilcar, and he's seen the run be made by Tobin, and all he had to do was keep the shot low. I think it would have hit the back of the net, dodging from a few yards out. He blazed it over the bar, and a big let off from Kilcar, because if Eunan had got that goal, that might have given them the energy to pull back into this match as it is. Kilcar survive, and really the bench has been unloaded a bit now, looking for a bit of experience. Come on, and say Sean Ryan expected him to come into the game as well for St Eunan's, but really the game needed a goal there. Eunan's needed a goal. That's, I think, something they're going to need to come back into this Kilcar lead. Yeah,
so the kick now to come from Kevin Campbell once again. Off goes Peter Devine. By the way, in the Intermediate Championship, Burt are in front. They've got a goal. They lead Fanet Gales 113 to 2-6. That is 16 plays 12. The kick towards the middle of the game. The break's picked up by Kilcar, and it's Conor Doherty who's working it forward. Gives it to Patrick McBurdy. Anthony Gallagher is on his tail. Now Kieran McGinley has it on the edge of the arc. Back it comes to McLean. Goes to the safe hands of Brian O'Donnell. Score of 2 points today. The other man on the wing is Gary Malloy. Malloy now has Mark McHugh off his right shoulder if he wants to use him. We are into the closing 8 minutes of the tie. 51.5 played. It's a 13-9 game. A 4-point advantage for Kilcar. And they're on the attack once again with Patrick McBurdy. McBurdy going at Anthony Gallagher. Well, McBurdy steps on to the left. Yeah, sticks it over the bar again. Classy stuff by Patrick McBurdy. That's now 6 points by their talisman, and the advantage is back out to 5.
That's top class there. There's not much you can do about that. You know, he stood him up. He just made that wee break inside, allowing him then to come back on the left foot again. That's what I was on about, how you mark McBurdy. Units are trying to play him there, as you've seen the Kerry lads trying to play him. Stand off, not let him go one side or the other, but that time Patrick just literally toyed with the Union's defence, went one way, come back on that trusty left foot. That was a top draw score.
Pádraig McGettigan's going to be introduced for St Eunan's as well. Another update in round 1 of the Senior Championship. Another goal for Ardra. They lead Rua 3-10 to 8 points is the latest score in the other 4 o'clock start in the Senior Championship. Ardra seem to be well on their way to taking an opening one as well. Tobin now. He's going to go with this defence. The ball's laid off. Oh, there's a big shoulder there on a St Eunan's player. And Pat Barrett said it was fair enough. The St Eunan's players are not at all happy with the line or the official on that decision, but that was a heavy shoulder that came in on the St Eunan's player, and Pat Barrett just looking to calm Kieran Tobin down. He was not at all happy with it. As Pádraig Boyle is the St Eunan's player who took the hit, and that was a mighty hit. It was a hard one, so it was, Brendan. Yeah, it's just that thing, if you're releasing the ball there, if you're not able to protect yourself, listen, we all like hits in the game, we all love the shoulder tackles, but as if the two players are ready for it is the problem, and if you're not, then you can have the impact and cross up the neck and that. I think that's why Eunan's feel a bit aggrieved. So play will continue. Pádraig Boyle is just getting his shoulder looked at. There's going to be a substitute coming in as well. Pádraig McGettigan, as we said, yes, is going to come in. And Pádraig Boyle, I can tell you, he's back on his feet. He's okay. So he is. He took a big hit, so he did. He's a tight boy, Pádraig Boyle. He's moving okay. Play will continue. The ball is with Kilcar and Mark McHugh. And McHugh just waiting for the signal to come. In comes the substitution. So Pádraig McGettigan is in, and looking up the far end of the pitch It's Noah Barrett, is it, that's coming off, the young man.
Yep.
Young cornerback. And times the St. Eunan's full back line, that back three, their hands full today, so that it would Kilcar.
Yeah, it's interesting part. Miguel's come back in there. Definitely he's a full forward type player, so it's interesting. A couple of changes. Eventually, move things around, but definitely need Park at the other end of the pitch. He's a player who could kick a 2-pointer as well.
Owen McHugh hasn't scored in the second half. You can change that now because he's got one for his side once again. Owen McHugh 3 in this game. And it's now 15-9.
3 very good points, Oisin, and that's we were on about that bit of quality and a bit of talent, and you've seen it there. McHugh and McBurdy have had great games. McHugh a bit quieter in the second half. You say chipped on me a brilliant point there. Eunan's wanting to kick out, but they've given it away. Yeah,
Kieran McGinley's one of who stood his ground against young Philip Doherty. McGinley's continued his run right up to the arc in the Eunan's half. Lays it off to McLean now. Matthew McLean's going to come back the way to Stephen McBurdy. McBurdy now feeds it to Mark McHugh. 2 second half substitutes for Kilcar on the clock. We've got 55 minutes played. It's a 15-9 game, and it's just a matter of the Townie men just seeing out this result now, and they'll start their campaign off with a victory. And that would make it back-to-back victories for them, because they had a huge one against Downings in the league in the last game of the league, and now they've started the championship with a huge one as well. Unless that is if St. Eunan's can find something huge toward the closing stages. But when you get Patrick McBurdy running at them like this and feeding the ball into the fullback who scored for the first time today, I think that's young Owen McCormick, is it, that's got his first score of the tie. And it's a 16-9 game, and they're edging closer to the one with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, you got the feeling now, and even when Eunan's were coming back in it and they were knocking on the door, you know, that 2-point effort of Ducks to bring 2 points in it, and even the goal opportunity, you felt Kilcar were going to still keep scoring at the other end. Eunan's had that purple patch, but you thought that Kilcar would steady the ship, as they've done. Steve McBurdy on the pitch now as well. A lot of talented players on the pitch for Eunan's to deal with, and you'll see Kilcar in possession now. They're very good on the ball. So many of their players, they'll keep it tight, they'll work it, as they're doing now with their half back line coming out there. And Brian O'Donnell again there, not giving away possession, not giving away the ball, but at least you see more of an effort of Eunan's to chase after the ball, and then you get your rewards, and an over carry. And that's what they didn't do in the first half. They didn't hunt Kilcar anywhere, and I think that's what left them 6 points down at half time.
And the ball's been kicked away by Conor Doherty, so Pat Barrett's just brought the football way up the field to the edge of the 21, and it's going to be a simple enough tap over point for Conor O'Donnell Jr. I'll just make a correction. I did say that it was back-to-back big ones for Kilcar if they won today. It's actually going to be 5, because our Kilcar statsman back in the studio has told me that they won 4 of their last league games to stay up. So Kieran's keeping us right. Here comes Conor O'Donnell Jr. looking for a 2-pointer. He's kicked that one high and over the bar. So another 2-pointer there for Conor O'Donnell Jr., which brings it back to 4 points now, Brendan. Yeah, so listen, they're not out of it this yet, with 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, indeed, and that's the thing about the 2-pointers, as we were saying about the games earlier today, and you look at how much a 2-pointer can just eat in the lead if you get a couple together, and that time that was a discipline side of things in terms of kicking the ball away. The ball was moved right up, and of course you've got the option for a free kick to take it back out, which Conor O'Donnell Jr. did, put it right on the line and tapped it over the bar. So yeah, bit of life still in this game yet, Ocean.
Conor O'Donnell Jr. now working it forward once again, coming back to the 45, laying up Tobin. Tobin has it. It goes now to Mulgrew. Mulgrew comes back the way to Conor O'Donnell Senior. I'll tell you what, if they were to get a goal here, it would certainly liven things up, so it would, in the closing minutes. We're into the closing 2 minutes plus whatever's going to be added on by our official at the end of the game. That one knocked into James Kelly, who can't control it. He pulls Kieran McGinley back, but the referee says no foul, so play will continue, and it's with Pádraig McGettigan. McGettigan now coming back to the edge of the arc to young Philip Doherty, to McGettigan, who steps inside onto the edge of the D. The big left foot's under it, and he's pulled that to the right and wide. A disappointing result there with that effort, which means it stays at a 5-point game at 16-11. So
Yeah, it definitely looked like a pull there. It looked like a free out to Kilcar, all right. Oisín, but McGettigan there coming on and saying that he's a forward player. He's a big unit of a man there, breaking the tackle. That's a tap over for him, you know, but that can happen sometimes when you're in your first strike of goal.
Fanad Gales and Burton Intermediate Championship are level 16 apiece, 210 plays 113. And in the Senior Championship, our draw 3-11, Arua 10 points. There's about 10 minutes to go in that senior game as well. Is there something special from St Eunan's in these closing minutes? We are 30 seconds from hitting the 60 of the hour mark. Big ball in. Kevin Campbell, the keeper, does he have it? There's a bit of a scrap down there, and it's one of the Kilcar players coming bursting out with the ball, bringing it to safety. It's Gary Malloy that has it, and Campbell's fouled as well, so there's going to be a stop and play here as the Kilcar men just get a bit of air and look to slow things down. A couple of the Glen Swilly men in watching this game, just leaving the venue after they of course came in,
made all their notes.
Making other notes. They're always making notes. The management team of Glen Swilly were here watching this one. They had a big one last night, of course, against Neve Connell, and I would say they were probably down at the bridge watching McCool's as well, because they've got them to come tomorrow, or next week rather, as well. But now in the meantime, the kick out is won by St Eunan's, who trail here by 5. We have hit the hour mark. We're in the time added on, and there's going to be 4 minutes added on at the end of this game. Back it comes to Philip Doherty. Now to Conor O'Donnell Sr. He's just going to hit it high in front of goal to see what happens. And that one has dropped over the bar for a 2-pointer. Yeah, just getting confirmation, the orange flag. Yeah, 2 points it is from Conor O'Donnell. So that's now 3 in it. And we still have 3 minutes to play, Brendan.
Yeah. Listen, Conor O'Donnell Senior should maybe drop it in around the goal more often, because I think that looked like what he was half attempting, but it carried on over the crossbar. And again, the 2 points just changed the scoreboard so much, and they've brought it back.
That's
as you
3
say,
for St Eunan's now in this game.
A kick of the ball, in it, and Eunice never looked like, they only got the 3 points in the first half. Never looked anything like hitting a 2-pointer. Certainly the lower goals seem the better scoring goals in this match, but listen, there's a kick of a ball in here now. Eunan's going to know that, but of course, as we keep saying, possession number 1, Kilcar have it from the kick out.
Yeah, here comes Kieran McGinley. They're looking to seal this game. They lead at the moment by 3. It's fed across the edge off the D there. Kilcar continue to hold on to the ball, and this looks like Brian O'Donnell now homing in again. It's fisted high and it drops out to the left and wide. So
That was a tired effort.
It was just over 2 minutes to go, and it's a 3-point advantage. And the kick out from the keeper, Fintan Doherty, goes out for a sideline ball to Kilcar, and there's no doubt Mark McHugh's going to take his time with this.
Yeah, he tried to rush that. Listen, when you're trying to get it out quick, you realise it's last chance saloon. But yeah, very tired effort there from Kilcar. They're fisted ball, but McBurdy has it in the corner, and I suppose that's the danger man there. He was offered play on. He just asked. I don't think you can actually do that. I don't did the whistle go there. It looked like he wanted the free anyway. But Pat Barrett maybe decided with him. I didn't hear the whistle actually going. You can't call that decision yourself. But anyway, as it is, McBurdy has the free, and that's.
The angle's pretty tight for McBurdy here, and he's going to steal a couple of yards, loop around with his left foot, so he is. And here he comes, but that one's going to sail well out to the left and wide. So the clock is back ticking again, and there's 1 minute and 15 seconds to go of the 4 that's been added on at the end of the game.
Yeah, if Eunice were even to get a 2-pointer now, Oisín, there may be an opportunity for an equaliser,
Fintan Doherty taking the place of Sean Patton for this game, sends it down the middle. Tobin brilliantly fetching it, looks up straight away to see what the movement's like. It goes out to the wing, the right wing that is, to Doherty. Doherty sends it in now, and it was a low ball, and it was asking a bit much of the man up top. Boyle, Kieran McGinley has it back now for the Kilcar men, and it's the visitors that can break forward and try and end this game. There's under 40 seconds to go, but Eunan's have it back with Noel O'Donnell, who's harrying hard, gives it to Tobin. Tobin runs into traffic, head down by Tobin. The referee is saying that there was a hand on the shoulder and he was holding them up. I think Tobin knew exactly what he was doing. Launched into the danger zone, up they go. McGeehan's there. The keeper gets his hands to it. The danger's cleared. Conor Doherty has it for Kilcar, bringing it out. In comes the challenge from Pádraig McGettigan from the side, and the referee's blown for a free to Kilcar, and we've almost the 4 minutes played.
Yeah, danger coming from Eunan. In fairness, Oisín, they've made a game of this in the second half. You know, you'd have thought at 11-3 this game was done and dusted. No matter what Eunan's done, Kilcar would have chipped on more scores maybe than they did. But in fairness to Eunan's, they maybe come out and just give it a bit of championship, Oisín, because that wasn't a championship performance in the first half, and really from neither team. But Kilcar couldn't blame Kilcar for that, because they did what they needed to do. But Eunan's didn't get about them enough, and McBurdy on the ball again. He's such a big unit. He's been done for overcarrying. I think, you know, Pat Barrett's been lenient on overcarrying.
I think Pat Barrett's going to give Eunan's one more chance here.
Yes.
Depends who wins this ball. The ball breaks. Kilcar have it. The whistle's in the mouth of the official. We wait for the full time. We've played the 4 minutes. And there is the full-time whistle. It is all over here at the O'Donnell Park in round 1 of the Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior Football Championship. And the men from Towney have come to the Cathedral Town and taken victory in round 1, winning by 3 points on a final scoreline of 16 points to 13. Patrick McBurdy playing his part today as he led the way with 6 of those scores. Owen McHugh was brilliant today as well. He chipped in with 3 but was pulling a lot of strings. Very effective, particularly in the first half, was big Kieran McGinley. And you can even add in the fullback, young Owen McCormick, stepping up with a 16th point of the tie for the Kilcar men, who on the overall scheme of things, when you look down at, yes, Eunan's didn't make a game of it in the second half, Brendan. I think Kilcar were fully deserving of taking this victory here today and starting the championship with a 1.
And you mentioned McCormick, of course, Barry McGinley as well, Mark McGeehan, you know, very touch tight. Eunan's danger man out there today, Oisín. But listen, first game in the championship, you know, particularly as you say, with a lot of players missing on the Eunan side and even a few missing on the Kilcar side. It was one of those games, as we said, never really caught fire as a championship encounter, but certainly you could see the value of half time in terms of the mindset of St Eunan's. Even though Kilcar started the second half reasonably well, they went 11-3 up, and you thought at that point this is just going to peter out. So in fairness to Eunan's, they did make a game of it. They chased Kilcar higher up the pitch, put a bit more intensity in the tackle, and went after a lot of their main players. But when you have McBurdy in the form he was on today, in top class, so hard to stop. And you talk about being down in the line last year, you know, you're normally up here. He is a serious unit, really powerful man. It's hard to know what way to play him in the club season, because he can take it either way. So he's went inside and went outside, and he can ghost you on the inside as well. But say McGinley brilliant in midfield. The lad you mentioned at the back there as well, Barry McGinley's marking job. I thought the half back line of Kilcar was great. Owen McHugh as well, first class in terms of punching holes in that Eunan's rear guard. So probably didn't see the best of Eunan's till they were so far behind. He always thought Kilcar would do enough to keep the game ticking over, but there was 2 big points I think in that second half. I think it's the 2-point effort at 12-10 that Conor O'Donnell had that would have brought Eunan's right back in it. Sorry, it was a 12-8, would have brought it back to 12-10. 2 points in it then, and really the game's in the balance. That was missing, of course. The Tobin goal chance again, that would have brought it back to 2 points as well. It was 13-8 then as well. Those are the 2, I think, times in that second half where you just thought maybe Eunan's could come back and maybe, you know, get a 1 or maybe get a draw. But as it was, when those opportunities were missed, Kilcar went up the pitch and kept the scoreboard chipping over. And I think rightly so, they were the better side here today in this opening game.
Yeah, they were, and it was a 16-13 result in the end, and Kilcar have started their championship with a victory. St Eunan's, of course, will be disappointed on day 1, but it's not the be-all and end-all if you suffer defeat on the opening day of the championship. What we're going to do at this stage is take a quick break, and you can join us. We will have live reaction for you in a few moments.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.
Yeah, thanks, Kieran. Welcome back here to our coverage of the Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior Football Championship and defeat today for St Eunan's. We'll hear from the winning manager of Kilcar shortly, but I'm joined here by Barry Meehan, of course, who is the manager of St Eunan's. Barry, I'll just give you that microphone. Listen, tough day at the office, but you knew it was going to be tough because you're down 8 or 9 players of your regular starters. I suppose, what's your assessment of your performance today?
Well, listen, we knew coming into the game, Oisín, that we were going to be down those men. We had prepared for that there, and it was an opportunity for other men to step up, and I suppose in the first half we didn't. We were second every ball. We were second every ball in the middle of the park. We were very standoffish defensively. You know, we were letting Kilcar come through us, especially Kieran McGinley and Owen McHugh, and then I suppose with Patrick, what he can do as well. You know, we weren't coming to terms with it at all. Changed things up a bit in the second half. Got ourselves back into the game. Started, being more competitive at midfield, which we were very happy with. Probably just didn't take enough scores away. Like, I think we had maybe 3 2-point efforts. 2 came off the post. And we had that goal chance, Kieran Tobin's, and I suppose a wee bit of composure there. Probably would have been a very different game. But listen, it's a wake up call very early on for us, and so we have to take it on the chin and go back to the drawing board now, and try and get men back in the field for next weekend. And listen, we always knew this year was going to be tough. It's going to be very tough because you have a target on your back straight away when you're county champions, and Kilcar, a very proud club, and they're well set up there. And listen, they came today and they came with more aggression than us early on, and so we can have no complaints at all.
What about the guys coming back next week? Will you have a full complement for?
We should have 1 or 2 more back now. We probably won't be a full complement yet.
You're not going to tell me anyway.
No, I'm not. No. We'll have 1 or 2. Yeah. We're going to be slightly, hopefully now from next week on, we're going to start integrating a few more men and a few of those injuries as well, lads that were it was too early for Aaron Deaney. It was too early for Owen Dowling. And the thing about it is you could play them today and you could end up doing more damage, and then suddenly they're out for the season. So we have to be conscious of that there as well. We have to look after our players. So listen, we'll get back to the drawing board during the week and hopefully get things right for the next weekend.
Yeah, and it's not the be all and end all losing today, so it's not. You can win a championship by suffering a defeat. Of course, that happened to you guys last year. So listen, you have a bit of work to do, but the year's not over. It's only 1 defeat now.
It is. It won't define our season. And we'll not get too down about it. But listen, we'll have to take an awful lot from it as regards what we need to improve on going forward. And listen, if we're going to be in with the shout of retaining the Dr. Maguire, we're going to have to really improve going forward.
Okay, listen, Barry, we appreciate you coming up to talk.
Thanks very much,
That's Barry Meehan there, manager of St Eunan's. Good man, Barry. What we'll do is bring in Mark Sweeney as well here for some reaction. Come on ahead, Mark. We're broadcasting live on Highland Sunday Sport, and we're also on the Donegal Donegal GA TV live stream as well. There's a microphone for you. I suppose first of all, congratulations. It's been a good afternoon, so it has for your side. You came here, you took the victory. Some people would suggest that maybe that with St Eunan's that you would have been underdogs going into this, but your men stepped up to it today and were full worth of that victory, Mark.
Yeah. I thought the boys done really well today. I thought a very good performance from start to finish. We know what to expect from St Eunan's. So I think this is the 3rd time we've played them in this round in the last 3 or 4 years. So look at St Eunan's, were down a number of key men there today. So you got to take that into account. It's the first.
But you had to play what was in front of you,
absolutely. Yeah. Like they've such a good panel, such good players to come in for that. But look, really pleased with the first day out.
Yeah, and your big player stepped up. Patrick, he finished with 6 points today, kicked some fine scores. Owen McHugh was very influential. Kieran McGinley, Brian O'Donnell, just to name a few. Those are key players for you, and when you come to championship, you need them coming up to the plate, and they've done that today.
Definitely, Oisín. That's 4 or 5 extremely good players there, and look, you look to the rest of the team there as well. They've all stepped up today. But when you get Brian O'Donnell, Patrick, Mark back in there, hopefully get Ryan back in a couple of weeks' time. Like they're Kieran McGinley, they're huge players for Kilcar. Huge players. Yeah.
It's definitely the start that you wanted.
Absolutely. Any day you get a 1-up here is a good day. It's a good start.
And next up, Downings, isn't it?
Yeah. Next up, Downings.
That just know well from
Sunday.
the league.
That's for sure. There was a big battle there a couple of weeks ago, so we came out on top, thank God to that. And there's another big one now next weekend. And look, we know a good bit about them as well, so we know what to expect. They're quite a good side too. A lot of very, very good dangerous forwards in there. So gonna be ready for that.
I heard you played a bit of reserve football today.
I can feel the hamstrings here now, burning on the back of me.
So you'd have a busy day. But listen, you're going back to Townie tonight and good form. Like, it makes the trip home a lot easier, so it does.
That's it. Look, we had a tough early year there, just with boys away and injuries and that kind of stuff in the league. It's a really tough league, and it's nice just to get out in the championship and get a win the first day out. You know.
Can you have a good crack at this, Dr. Maguire, this year? What you're thinking on it? You're probably going to throw the old cliche back at me. We're taking it game by game, but
no,
what's the target on it?
Absolutely. Like any team that's in the Dr. Maguire has to be in it to win it. You know, that's the thing. So Kilcar no different. We're obviously in the competition to win it. Look, we know what's ahead of us. There's a lot of big teams there, a lot of big teams there. So, but look, we'll never rule ourselves out anyway.
Okay, well done today. Pleasure to talk to you, Mark.
Thanks very much.
Many thanks for coming up and joining us.
Thanks very much.
Mark Sweeney, their manager of Kilcar. It's been a fantastic day for Kilcar, and that brings an end to our coverage here at the O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny. The men are heading back to Towney off the back of a 3-point win, 16-13 at finish today. They're taking on Downings in their home patch next week, so they'll be looking to make it back-to-back wins, but St Eunan's have a bit of work to do today. Thanks for joining our coverage. If you're watching in on Donegal GAA TV live in association with streamsport.ie, and of course for details of all the upcoming matches, just nip along to the Donegal GAA social media channels, or indeed go to SmartStream social media channels as well. They'll have all the details there of the games coming up and how you can purchase them. And of course, if you're tuned into the radio, as always, many thanks for joining us this evening as we hand back to the studio in Letterkenny.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.
Forward, Kilcar on the hunt for the opening score. Here comes the wing forward, Matthew McLean. McLean kicks it high, and that one is going to go over. The ball's found a bit of space onto the edge of the D. Bit of space opens up just on the edge of the 20. Over 4 minutes played here. Here comes McGeehan now on the right foot, just like his son did back in 2017. Owen McHugh coming back inside the D and stepping onto the left foot, and that one is McGeehan's out ahead of the defender. Good turn by McGeehan. McGeehan into the D, onto the 21. Chance of a goal here for St Eunan's. And that flicks it over the top into Conor O'Donnell with a nice flick there to Devine. Devine sets up the McBurdy. McBurdy gets round Mulgrew. Here's McBurdy now homing in for a fisted effort at the moment. Running at the St Eunan's defence. Flicks it in. Chance of a goal here is there for Kilcar. They need to get it back to McBurdy. And McBurdy slots it over for players to move forward. Well, this is good, Bakir McGinley. That's a classy point, Matthew McLean. And it goes. Here's McBurdy now. Is there enough room on the left peg for Patrick McBurdy? He's missed one on the left foot. Here's Kieran McGinley again, busting through the tackle. McGinley onto the right boot, and there's another good by Owen McHugh. And now he's going to run at Kevin Keeley. McHugh turns on to the left, and that's a good score by Owen McHugh. And inside the D, soccer style, just nicks it out to the left hand side. Kilcar on the hunt for another
1v1 every time, and Kilcar now are doing damage.
Here comes Patrick McBurdy looking for his 4th point of the game, and he's got it as well. There's a chance here now for young Doherty to tee himself up. He's kicked it high, and he's kicked it over the bar. Senior just lays that one off to Devine. It's going to come out to Conor O'Donnell Jr. going for the 2-pointer. This one's kicked high. We've got our first 2-pointer of the day, 11. And St Eunan's are on the attack. They're looking for another one. And this one drops over the bar, and that's Bertie. McBurdy out ahead of the St Eunan's defence. It's Anthony Gallagher's taking him on. McBurdy turns on to the left foot in here for McGeehan. It's on his wrong side. Out comes Winston again. He's already got one. He wants another one over Winston. That drops over to McBurdy once again. Into Brian O'Donnell. Is this a fisted point for Kilcar? Of Noel O'Donnell. Lays it back to Conor O'Donnell. It's on his wrong side here. Just flicks it in. Oh, it's opened up. Goal chance. Oh, Kieran Tope. Patrick McBurdy. McBurdy going at Anthony Gallagher. Well, McBurdy steps on to the left.
But definitely need Park at the other end of the pitch. He's a player who could kick a 2-pointer as well.
Owen McHugh hasn't scored in the second half. You can find something huge toward the closing stages, but when you get Patrick McBurdy running at them like this and feeding the ball into the full back, Kieran's keeping us right. Here comes Conor O'Donnell Jr. looking for a 2-pointer. He's kicked that one to Philip Doherty. Now to Conor O'Donnell Sr. He's just going to hit it high in front of goal to see what happens. And that one has dropped. Kilcar have it. The whistle's in the mouth of the official. We wait for the full time. We've played the 4 minutes. And there is the full-time whistle. It is all over here at the O'Donnell Park in round one of the Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Donegal Senior.